people see dandelion and think, oh, horrible weed, it's ugly, it's messing up my lawn, it's making my lawn not look all flat and uniform. But dandelions are delicious. They're amazing for the bees. They're so good for you in so many different ways as a herbal medicine. And it seems a shame that all we do to dandelions is vilify them. So today I'm going to pick loads and loads of dandelion flowers, and I'm going to be making a few different things with them when I get home. So let's get picking. When I got home yesterday with my basket full of dandelion flowers, I sat down and I stripped all of the petals out from the flowers. The reason why you do this is because the green bits on the base can be quite bitter, and I wanted to use these for sweet dishes, so I didn't want that bitterness to come in. So this morning I was confronted with all of this blossom and I had to decide what to make with it. My brain was a complete bowl of porridge this morning, thank you sleep deprivation. So I decided it would be easier to make other people make the decision for me, and I asked people on my Facebook group Forage and Feast and on my Facebook page to vote on which idea they liked best. The first option was that I would make some Swahili Mitai. This is a coconut yeasted donut that we then coat in a sugar glaze. Normally the sugar glaze would be flavoured with cardamom, but I'm going to use dandelion flowers. Option 2 was to make a dandelion flower syrup with these petals, and option 3 was to make some fritters. Option 1 of the little donuts won out, so that's what I'm going to make. This is a gluten-free recipe, although a gluten-full version will also be on my website for people who don't need to watch what they're eating. So I'm going to get started by making my coconut milk. Into the bowl of my stand mixer, I'm going to put in some brown rice flour, xanthan gum, salt and baking powder, followed by some milk powder, some potato starch, some tapioca flour, and some sugar. Just going to give it a gentle stir to mix all the ingredients together. I'm going to start putting all my wet ingredients in. So first goes my egg, followed by my yeast, as much of the yeast out as possible. Then I'm going to add my thick coconut cream. And then in goes my thin coconut milk. Now that it's forming a dough, I'm going to stop it and change my beater attachment for my dough hook. Right, my dough feels a lot more pliable. It's still sticky, it will always be sticky, but that's not a problem. So, it feels nice and soft, and All the kneading has activated the xanthan gum, so it should hold together while it's rising. My dough has now been rising for about 4 hours or so. So now it's time to roll it out and to make the mitai. So I've got half the dough there. I'm going to dust my surface with some gluten-free flour. And roll it out. Because of the fact that this is gluten-free flour, it doesn't roll out as easily as wheat flour, and you'll end up with it sort of cracking on the edges, but that's okay. You just kind of neaten it up once you're done rolling it. Right, I've rolled it out to a thickness of about 5 millimeters, possibly a bit less than that. And I'm now going to cut it. Pizza cutter is the easiest way to do this. So I'm just going to go like... While my oil is heating, I'm just going to separate these out and line them up so that it's easier to grab them when I'm frying. So I'm satisfied that my oil is ready, so I'm going to start frying. They rise to the surface and then puff up. So that's the right colour. Fish these out and put in the next batch. Now that I've fried all of the mitai, I'm going to make the syrup to make the glaze that's going to go on top. And for that, I need sugar and water. I'm going to switch the heat on underneath. All of the sugar has now dissolved, so I don't need to keep stirring it at the moment. And I want it to come to a proper rolling boil and boil until it reaches the point where threads form between your fingers, and I'll show you what that is when we get there. So I'm going to switch the heat off underneath, and I'm going to chuck in dandelion blossoms. I'm going to switch the heat back on. So now, this is where it starts getting a bit trickier. So I'm going to take all of my mitai and I'm going to put them into my sugar. And then I'm going to and you put them on the heat for a bit, and then toss. Put them on the heat. Can you see how the sugar is starting to change colour now? It's no longer shiny and liquid. It's drying into a crust on top of our little donuts. The sugar is now getting more and more opaque with little flecks of dandelion blossom. Going to switch it off, and you want to transfer these onto a tray to cool. there we have it. Gluten-free dandelion blossom doughnuts. And you break them open. On the inside, they're wonderfully fluffy. They're like little coconutty pillows of dandelion. They're really, really tasty. Thank you for watching, and do join me again on the next episode of Mina's Basket Case. In the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe. Happy foraging!